Hey y'all, Coach InTheFight here, and in today's video, we want to talk about knee pain and what it is that we can do about it. We're here in the year 2025 when the majority of the people are dependent on modern medicine, but are being threatened by the global economics of the world. People are starting to think about what's going to happen to them if and when they lose their medicine, are prevented from getting their medicine or their surgeries and such. And so many people are returning to herbal medicines and returning to the ways that people received healing before modern medicine. If you know the story, you had Hippocrates who came in and modernized medicine. The way the story goes is that he intentionally took the healing out of the hands of the priests and put it in the hands of the doctors. Well, we understand now that this is about to be reversed, where the doctors are going to lose control of medicine. In other words, there's going to be ailments that the doctors are not going to understand and or be able to handle. And so, again, many people are going back to the priestly or our father's ways of healing. And one of the books, the scriptures that we have that talks about spiritual healing is the Testament of Solomon, which is the book that we'll be coming out of today. And we've done several classes on the Testament of Solomon, these texts particularly, where we went in trying to get the codes for each of these particular ailments, so to speak. And so we've been working on this for many years. And you can get this over at coachandthefight.shop. It will be updated from time to time, so you'll have to check back to make sure you have the latest revision. This one is about to be updated now as I finish working on this particular one here about knee pain. We see in verse 90. And so you can go over to coachandthefight.shop and look for the Testament of Solomon charts and keep yourself updated on these. As time passes, this information probably will get more and more valuable. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at the 19th, which said, I am called Naoth, and I take my seat on the knees of men. If anyone write on paper, for I know boy, Allah, depart Naoth, and touch not the neck, I at once retreat. So that's typically how these work over here in the Testament of Solomon. There are some Hebrew letters that either have to be written or said. And again, this is how they would have had to deal with knee pain before modern medicine. And I've looked at, how those surgeries look, and I could imagine a lot of people would want to go through that. So a lot of people are looking for alternatives. And again, this is scriptural stuff, so let's take it kind of slow. This is the 19th. Now, there are 36 of these entities that cause ailments. Things like heart trouble, croup in children, fever, chest pains, just different, all kinds of stuff. Again, you can see the entire chart. But this one is called Naoth. Now, of course, that is a Greek word or a Latin word, so I'm most likely pronouncing it wrong. But anyway, that pronunciation of that particular name is not important. In fact, none of the pronunciations of the words are important in this particular verse because it says that it has to be written on paper. He says, I am called Naoth, and I take my seat on the knees of men. Now, from what I understand, I believe that this is talking about bringing pain to the knees of men. So or women in this case. My relatives happen to be female, but I think that doesn't matter. Knee pain is knee pain. And I'm sure she doesn't want to hear how the for knee pain is only given to men. No, it's actually would be given to women too. And so what it says is if anyone write on paper, no bo hala depart Naoth. Okay, so now you have this Latin word. And so then you start to realize why it is, first of all, that the doctors have to study Latin. And then you understand what it is that they're actually writing on those prescriptions. A lot of times we can't recognize the words that are written on a prescription. Well, you see right here, all the doctor would have to do to help with the knee pain, if not the knee pain altogether, would be to write this out. And he could write it in Greek and we would never know. However, I don't know if it would actually help. We're going to see here the Hebrew letters, and I believe that the Hebrew letters, which are the fire letters, actually bring the healing power. So if the doctor is writing it in Greek, it may be the reason why he has to still go on and do that very expensive and painful surgery. But anyway, it says, if anyone write on paper, fanano boy hala, depart Naoth, and touch not the neck. Now, this part right here, and touch not the neck, means to me how an ailment can go from one place to another. A lot of times, you'll take cold medicine for a cold, and then you end up with some other type of ailment. That's because we're dealing with spiritual warfare in these cases, and a lot of times a pill is not going to solve it. Well, in this case, I believe what this is implying is that if we somehow get this pain out of our knee, it could end up in our neck. And so part of what we have to write is to be sure to make sure that we are getting rid of this Naoth, but he's not stopping at our neck. He's going to be completely departed. He's going to be removed altogether. And it says that if we were to write this down, he says at once he is to retreat. Now, again, this is how all of these work. There's going to be something to write, something to say, or, something like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at the Hebrew. Getting a little tired of trying to pronounce the Latin words or the Greek words. Well, the Hebrew may not be that much easier, but let's go ahead. It will be at least familiar. So this is the writing. And when you in the chart, you actually get to see the modern Hebrew. That is the modern Hebrew for those who recognize those letters more than the ancient Hebrew. That's what's actually being written and is told to be written on paper. Now, is this actual paper? I forgot to mention that back when this book was written, they didn't have paper made of wood. At least I don't believe so. All of the paper was made out of skin, like parchment paper. I have to think about it. Y'all let me know what you think about that, and any other concerns or questions you have, comments or anything you can add to the discussion down in the comment section. But we're going to go ahead and look at the writing. Let's look at it in Hebrew. So there's his name. Fa na wa baha Allah. You see, that's why I was tripping over it, because I already knew what the Hebrew looks like. So it has that Allah at the end of it, and that E looking thing goes to the H. So it's Ha Allah. And so, but again, it's not important to pronounce these like some of them are. We just have to write them. So the next word is Garasha. Now, this is this letter here for Shah, the letter Shin, is actually the Yiddish version of it. I'm looking for a closer version in Hebrew, which is a tooth for the letter Shin. But you see in the Jewish, it looks like teeth instead of a tooth. But anyway, the actual, let me show you what the actual letter would look like. Look closer to that. But anyway, so I'll show you the final result from what I wrote in my book. I'll show you the picture of it. But the rest of the letters are pretty much in the way they should be, at least the way that I understand them. That's the only one we have a problem with, is that Shin. But make it look more like a tooth, the molar to be exact, when you write it. And the next one is Natha Atha. That's Naoth. Natha Atha would be Naoth. This word up here, Garasha, actually means depart. That's the word for depart. So you have his name, and the word depart, Naoth. So what the writing is saying is for this individual to depart Naoth. And it's important to understand that these are fire letters, and these letters themselves have power within themselves. But anyway, let's go on. The next word is wa'ala. Wa'ala. I can come over here and see what that word is. And so that next word is the word for and don't touch the neck. And then we have ba tza wa wa ara. And this letter here is also an issue because we are seeing the Yiddish version of this letter here, which is or appears to be a man on his back. But when you turn him upright, it's not a man laying on his back, but a man on his knees as if he's praying. So that also has to be changed. But let me go ahead and show you what it would look like when we'll actually write it on this paper or this parchment paper. Okay, so that's what it would look like. So that's the writing for knee pain according to the Testament of Solomon, the 19th, which sits on the knees. This is what we would have to write on paper. But in the meantime, if you got anything out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you didn't, hit the dislike button, but leave us a comment either way, and shalom.